I think it's very important for judgment education because that you make a judgment, so you need some feedback from other person. So community's role is kind of feedback role. So for feedback, for productive feedback, must be a safety in community. Safety means that we can criticize other person. That reason is not good because something like that. So at the time, you must accept other person's criticism because to correct your position. So it is that making environmental condition of good judgment. From this, that environment, you can train yourself, you can correct yourself, and that make progress. How can make this place is safe? So listen carefully, respect other person. Okay, this is first condition. What is the other condition? Listen carefully. So it is very important in listening. It's that the powerful listening. So it's very, very difficult in Korea, powerful listening. So the students are not trained to listen other colleagues. They are trained listen to teachers. When they listen to teacher, they concentrate. But other students, when the other students say something, they didn't concentrate. But this community is that everyone must listen carefully. Others, okay? So how can listen carefully? If it is a skill. How can? Look in speaker's eye. Look at speaker's eye. Yeah? It's a skill. Look. And when you have a question, you make questions. You are not clear, you ask the clarification. So it's a judgment is in intersubjective. It's very subtle. It's very, very sensitive. If we did not listen carefully, we cannot communicate. For example, a lot of cases, I didn't say that. That's something. But there is a misunderstanding because of lack of power of listening. Okay? So, and then speakers must speak loudly. Too much loud is not good, but anyone can understand clearly. Speak up. Is that the speaker's duty in community of inquiry? Speak loudly, listen carefully. You know Chinese? Chinese letter? Chinese letter hearing, listening is very interesting. Listening this means ear, yeah, ear. But This means eye contact. You must eye contact. Yeah. And one mind, concentrate. One mind. You two mind always listen, but my mind away. So one mind. Here listen and one mind. It's the listening. So translate. Yeah. So sometimes when I listen, but my mind is another way, another place. That listening skill is very important because we are community of inquiry. So that for safety, first listen carefully, listening and other things. Self-correct. It means that if my vision is not good enough, it's not good, so I correct myself. Accept other person's criticism. Oh, you are right. I must change my mind. But it is very, very difficult to happen, actually. That everyone has their face, so don't want to the face down. So don't want to correct their speaking, their mind or something. But for safety, if someone don't want to change their mind, criticism is not possible. So without criticism, there is no progress. So, but in students, in the young students, it's very easy to change their mind. Oh, I wanted to change my position. But in others, it's very difficult. I have a social position. I don't want to change my mind, even if I am not good. So, if such kind of person has no progress. It's kind of that there is a problem of leadership. Even if I am president, if I think I'm wrong, I must change my mind. So it is good for all, not only for me, not for all. It's a community. That's why we call it community. Okay, so if you are a teacher, so in community, someone changed their mind, was influenced by other person's criticism, you encourage them. Oh, you make self-correction. You made a self-correction. Good. Encourage them. Yeah. Okay. I don't know that the Philippine culture is self-correction is common in your class. Not really. Okay, it's difficult. Yeah, but that's why the safety place. I like you. I wanted to help you. Everyone believes other people want to help me, not other intention. So it is important. So for that, the teachers demonstrated, the students criticize me, I change my mind. Oh, you are right. I want to change my mind. When teachers show this way, the students follow you. It's what actually is very difficult in authoritarian society. Teachers never recognize he's wrong or she's wrong. So such kind of society cannot make progress. So Japan Teachers College invited me, demonstrated how to teach P4C in middle school children. So when I teach Japanese children, so they cannot make questions. They didn't questions. So why you didn't question about that? They think making question is arrogant. So because not arrogant for me, so for other colleagues, pretend to be a clever, pretend to be a nice person or something like that. So bullying after that. So they didn't make question. So I asked a Japanese teacher, Japanese professor. So a Japanese professor knows who wanted to make a question. They use that eye expression. So when professor sees, oh, they make questions. Something like that. It's a different skills they use. So Korea is, oh, no, something like that. It's quite different way. So, I don't know that the Philippines is the same in Korea or same in Japan or similar.
Make a difference. There are sometimes what we call intellectual shaming.
Yeah.
If you're the smart guy in the classroom,
Yeah.
people tend to think you are someone who disrupts the peace.
Ah.
You're not promoting peace because you're not shaming. You're always questioning.
Yeah.
There's a tendency to shame
Yeah.
the person who asks or make contact.
Okay, it's the same in almost Japan, yeah? Yeah, more or less. Okay, it's the same in Japan, I think. The atmosphere is the same. So the teachers control, this manage this control. But another way of that some smart guy always make question. So other people disappoint and hate him. At the time, so you make 3 cards, everyone. So if you make one question, you must throw out card. If you consume 3 cards, you have no right to questions or something. It's the way of control, the smart guys. Yeah, you can ask question, but one time, you have 2 times. Something like that. It is the way of control. Yes, it's same in almost the smart guy always something like that. Okay, so okay, anyone have a question? Question? Worrying about arrogant. The question. So yeah.
How do you encourage your students to participate more? Sometimes here, students, they are ashamed to ask questions. They feel they don't want to be seen as wrong. So, what techniques do you have or do you use?
So why this kind of a name card needed? So when I practiced at the classroom dialogue in United States or other countries, that here I have a list of students. I check out someone who make question, and then some who don't make question, I point out, you have any questions or something like that. So it's the way of skill generally. But in all over the world, there is some students who don't want to, they're very shy to show up to, they think it's kind of a show up. Yeah? So always that inner thinking, introspective. Yeah, so yes, we don't need to push him to ask a question or something like that. His style. But he already think himself many things and many questions, but don't want to express it. Okay, so this is community of inquiry skill. Many strong point. Many. So I suggest you use this kind of community of inquiry to exercising good judgment, making progress in thinking skills, that the learning skill, learning how to care about other person. Is that my major is moral education, ethics education. So how to educate the students virtue. So usually virtue is exercise, the physical exercise. But for me, it's a kind of a dialogue situation, care about other person, be honest and humble, and then all of this taking responsibility, to courage to speak. So all of this thing is a virtue. So you can practice virtue in community of inquiry. So you are trained this kind of community of inquiry. It's the intellectual and personal and character education go together. So it's very important. So I have the lab of institute. So for philosophy of children lab. So exercise that this community of inquiry. So try to catch two objects. It's a character education, intellectual education. So there are a lot of stories, or successful stories. They are very behavior is not good and always bullying other boys or something like that. They become changed by community of inquiry. So listen carefully is first, and correct yourself second, and virtue, that courage, speak courage, that but I know she's wrong, but have no courage to speak about it. It's sometimes. So you must take responsibility as a member of a community. So it's a responsibility, courage is important. And then humbleness, caring other person, honest, every other virtues. Work here, community of inquiry.